All right, what's going on, guys? Salute, shout out from the Rooftop Hotel. Not our hotel, not my hotel, but one of my favorite quiet hiding spots when it comes to especially making a video. I'm gonna give you a quick show around. I've shot videos from here before. 6 floors up. There is a little bit of a breeze, so I apologize if it messes up the audio. They've actually had this bar closed for about a week, and I was afraid it was closed permanently, but I'll show you. That's the Marriott Hotel, La Palma, and Duan Tawan, the red one with the red right there, Duan Tawan. And up top, you see all the bars down below. There's several bars. Our bar is about, you see where that yellow sign is? We're about halfway between there and the end, in the middle, kind of. That big part with all the lights is the open food market. There's a band that's playing live on the second floor, somewhere over there. Anyway, the Boy Blues Bar, a lot of good music, live music every night. There's another bar up on the second floor at the very end where all that is, if you will. It's like a little temple. They play some music, but then you've got another major food court over here on this side. So it's a pretty big bazaar. And then all this is basically bars and stuff. I was just giving you a little idea. Here's a little video I shot from earlier today, like standing on the street, you know, talking like from where our bar is, you know, what I talked about earlier, if you will. Just kind of giving you a little street view. But anyway, I want to talk about visas in this video, immigration, resident, like status, staying here in Thailand, visiting Thailand, depending on how long. It's going to be hard to cram this into videos, but basically, Thailand accepts passports like only. You don't need a visa to visit Thailand from 93 countries. They just passed this. It was 57. Like as an American, you can come to Thailand with a passport, and as of today, they just changed the laws. You get 60-day visa free. And then, you know, towards the end of that, you can extend that for another 30 days. Pay like 1,000 baht, 1,500 baht, I think. You know, we're talking about 40, 50 bucks, you know, for another 30 days. So basically you can get 90 days without a visa to come to Thailand as a tourist. If you decide to stay longer, you know, let me back up. A lot of people come here on tourist visas and they leave and come back. I'm not recommending this because technically you can do this legally twice a year. So basically you can go stay your 90 days, leave the country, come right back, which is not far. All the neighboring countries are very close. To Chiang Mai, like 1 hour flight, you're in another country. You can be in Vietnam in an hour and a half. You can be in Laos in 1 hour. You can be in China or Philippines, Korea, Japan, 4 or 5 hour flight, if you will. So we're very close in proximity to most of these other countries. So anyway, let's go ahead and get back to it. If you decide to stay longer, this is where it kind of gets complicated, but it's not that complicated. It is a bureaucratic thing, but still, the process does work. Do I like the whole process? No. For example, you know, I decided to stay longer when I came here a year ago. So I came in on a tourist visa, and back then we only got 30 days on arrival. So I got 30 days. I went to the immigration place in Bangkok. Extended it another 30 days, if you will. So I was on a tourist visa, 30-day extended to 60 days. And I decided to come to Chiang Mai. When I came to Chiang Mai right at a year ago, I'd gotten in touch with some people in agency, which is what I would recommend doing. Pay an agency or an attorney. Like, especially when you first get here, because you don't know. There's so many different avenues and ways to stay. You know, you gotta be very careful because it's not like what you would expect. It does take a lot of work and effort on your part and someone else's part. For example, we have to report every 90 days. I have to report every 90 days my proof of address. They call it a TM30 here. Like anywhere I go, and on every 90 days, I've got to have that TM30. And if you stay on a long-term visa, you don't have to prove this. You just got to show up mainly, and your agency will handle it for you. But I guess if you stay here long enough, you can kind of do this stuff yourself. But it's still, to me, it's a lot of paperwork I don't understand. So it's better just to pay an agency, make a phone call, and they, hey, come pick up the paperwork tomorrow, and I take it myself. It's already pre-filled out. Everything's put on there, my passport, photo, everything. They've done it all. I just turn in the paperwork, I pay the little money, but I don't have to pay every time I go. It just depends. But it's complicated. So I'm gonna try to break it down. I'm on a 1-year education visa. There are several 1-year education visas, which are very easy to get. Now, I paid my agency 57,000 baht for 1 year, which is about 1,700 US dollars, roughly. Well worth it, in my opinion. But basically, I paid this agency. They signed me up for Muay Thai, hand-to-hand combat, which you can do those separately if you want. You can do a language 1-year education visa. If you go to school here, like a bona fide university, not a, you know, one of these gray area schools, you know what I'm talking about? Like if you go to the university here, you can get education visas for that, for studying and stuff. And you can even get like driver's license on those. Those are actually pretty ironclad, getting like a straight study visa, if you will. If you're 50 years old, this is important. If you're listening to this and you're 50 years or above, you can get a retirement visa or what they call a Thai elite visa. Now, Thai elite visa is expensive. That's the platinum of this program. When I went and started researching this Thailand elite visa, which I wasn't sure of, I just want to be honest with you guys, you need to go check out the website, the official Thai embassy website. Because there are different levels of this. There's 5, 10, and 20-year programs ranging from $20,000 to $41,000 US for, you know, 10-year. Some are reporting, some are not. This to me is out of my league and out of most people's league. If you're under 50, don't even worry about this. If you're over 50 and you're rich, you need to check this out. So otherwise, let's get back to the video. Do your research. Check this out though. This is the official breakdown. I can speak about the other visas that I know of personally when it comes to coming in and out, staying here long term. But when it comes to these expensive premium packages, basically paying for VIP and valet parking, if you will, you need to check this out yourself. Thai Embassy website. They'll give you all the information. Pretty straightforward. Hassle-free visa, but you're not allowed to work. You got to be careful. Like they restrict what you can do. Like if you're just here retired and as a single man or a single woman, you're not allowed to do any, like you're not allowed to work. You're not allowed privileges of like ownership of things, or you got to be careful with this. So I'm going to try to break this all down. So please hear me out. A lot of people get a retirement visa at 50, which requires not that much in the bank. I think $25,000. In the bank, or you know, a certain amount of income. I think it's like $1,500 to $2,000 per month. If you can prove that income, I think that's the equivalent of having a certain amount in the bank, if you will, in a Thai bank. But you get the Thai banking privileges, which is a good thing. Like I don't have a Thai bank. Like I'm not allowed to have a Thai bank right now. It's really become cumbersome at this point because like it's easy to, like I want to be able to send money and screenshot. Like everyone here uses like Apple Pay, or not Apple Pay, but like Rabbit. They call it like Rabbit, or just straight QR code, boom, 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 boom. It's a very technologically advanced society in a lot of ways. And this puts me out of the system. Basically, I'm still going to the ATM, taking out money, paying $6 ATM fee. Not to mention the markup exchange rates that they charge. So I don't like going to the ATM taking out cash, because how do you put cash into your damn bank from here? This is the problem. So you have to like weigh all these things. And I'm talking about me personally being on an education visa. But if you're able to get the retirement visa, for example, yes, you're going to pay. You got to be 50 years or up, a certain amount of income, certain amount in the bank, but you get banking privileges. You can buy a condo with that. You can absolutely buy a condo as long as the building is 40 or 51% Thai owned. The whole building, like all the units in totality. But if it's not that, you're not allowed to. So you can go into business with someone, but you can own 49% of something. You could probably buy a car in your name if you pay for it. You're not going to be able to finance in a lot of ways on certain things, unless you've just got some type of status, you've been here a while, maybe you can figure that out. That's another video. But with that said, it does give you a lot of privileges. Like banking is a big deal. But moving on to the next thing is like my education visa is running out. I've got, today is like the 14th, I think. So I've got like 2 weeks. So July 3rd, my 1-year education visa is up and I've got to leave the country. I could probably apply for another visa, but I need some time to think, like what I'm gonna do next. So I booked a trip to Laos. Laos is not far. Like it's a 1 hour and 10-minute flight, like literally. This whole trip, flight included, round trip, 3 days with hotel, is costing me about 10,000 baht. It is inconvenient, but when I go and I come back 2 days, like I'm gonna go for a couple days, fly back in like fresh, and they'll stamp my passport and give me a 60-day tourist visa again, which I started with last year. But that's gonna give me 2 months, possibly 3 if I need to extend that 30 days to figure out what I'm gonna do next. No, I'm not worried about this. There are multiple options. As I said, my personal opinion is I may go for another like education Thai language visa, but it's really a lot harder. You can't bullshit your way around this. Like they're testing you, making sure that you're learning Thai language, which I am, but I'm not learning as fast as I want to. I'm not as proud of myself as I'd like to be. Like honestly, Thai is a very, very difficult language. 44 consonants, I think 18 vowels. It's crazy. Like just learning how to write my name has taken me a year. I can write my name, but I think. But anyway, with that being said, guys, like there are a multitude of options here. Of course, there's marriage and stuff, which anyone watching my channel, you gotta be careful and do your homework with this. Like, okay, if I get married to a Thai citizen, I can get like a marriage visa, if you will, a resident visa, but it's only 1 year. So every year I still have to go in and renew it. And if she divorces you, you've got 7 days, I think, to leave legally. You know, so it's kind of, there's some areas where it's like tricky and scary. Like there is that always lingering over you. That immigration is always in the back of your mind. Like I can't explain this to people here. Like I'm always thinking immigration, because like in some countries, like even America, as hard as it is to get in, if you get married and you stay in America, you've got no problem. If you're married for 2 years, I think, even if you divorce, you still have citizenship in America, I think. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that's the case. So once you get in the door, it's a lot easier in a lot of countries, as opposed to here where it's an ongoing thing. It's an ongoing thing. There really is no option that I know of where I will never have to worry about it again. Like even if I stay here, I get married, I settle down, I have kids, I invest, I don't ask for government assistance, you know, I work, which they don't like us working. But the thing is on a marriage visa, you can, or a resident visa, you can get a work permit. I would be able to get a work permit. So there's a lot of things you got to consider. But every year I would still have to go renew it. And as long as everything's going in perpetuity, you're going to be fine. And I think this will change at some point. But listen, they are evolving with the times, and they've streamlined their immigration process in a lot of ways. It's a lot different from a lot of countries. Whereas in a lot of countries, if you have a child with the opposite gender, that child is a citizen of that country, which kind of gives you some rights to stay in that country in perpetuity, either both parents, if you will. But here it's not like that. No. So it's tough. Now you can do that if you are the primary. Like, okay, say if I have a child with a girl and she abandons that child and I'm taking care of this citizen, you have some options in that scenario to stay in Thailand. But it's not easy. It's not going to be easy, at least for now. But I do think that things are evolving, and they are not making it more difficult for people. Like, they don't play about this. I'm going to go ahead and put this disclaimer. Do not overstay your visa. Like, I'm still, like, as I said, it's always in the back of my mind. I'm always feeling like I'm treading on thin ice. Not because I feel like I'm being watched, but you don't want to commit any type of incidents, like overstaying your visa, if you plan to stay long term, because they're going to pull that record up. And for example, I think if you overstay 15 days, There's people that get caught staying way over that, but sometimes they're light on you. But if you get caught staying 15 days over your visa before you leave, they will fine you. They may fine you a lot of money, but a lot of times they'll blacklist you for 5 years from coming back. You won't even be allowed to come back if you overstay, I think, 15 days. That's the law. Maybe they apply it, maybe they don't. Some people get hit with the hammer on this, some people don't. But I wouldn't risk it. I wouldn't risk overstaying 1 day, because if you want to apply for something longer term, if they change something, if you went and done all these infractions on your record when it comes to honoring and obeying, respecting their laws and customs, and especially immigration, I'm telling you, man, you're shooting yourself in the foot. So like staying long term in Thailand is easy, but it requires a lot of work. In my opinion, it's not like as easy as a lot of people would think. Now, if you've got money to pay visa agents, as I said, this is the most ideal way to go by far. Like, it's so stress free. Like, you call an agency up, you bring your passport in, they do the paperwork. They'll call you and say, hey, immigration will set appointments like every 3 months, and I'll get an appointment. They actually meet me there with the paperwork filled out, and they just hand it to them. They take my picture, I'm out. It's usually about an hour process every 90 days, just to, reaffirm my address or check in or get my picture done. So with that said, you don't have to do that on all visas. Like, if you get a 1-year resident visa, I don't think you have to do that, but I might be mistaken. But still, I would be allowed to work. I would be allowed to get a driver's license. So there's ways, you got to do your homework. You got to you got to live here. You got to screen it out and see what it is. There's a lot of ways, but it's going to be a struggle. You're going to feel like you're walking on pins and needles sometimes. You're going to be nervous. You're always going to have in the back of your mind, maybe they shut the switch off and I got to go one day. Maybe you set up this light. It's a scary thought. It's a scary feeling, especially if you really want to stay here and build something, build a family and have kids and have a family and have it have a house or a business. Like, it's scary when you've always got that in the back of your mind. But I wouldn't say that at this point I feel like nervous. As I said, I'm having my visa's up. I'm making a visa run. I come back. I'll be able to figure it out. I've got plenty of options. You can do like yoga visas and stuff. There's a ton of different options, like 1 year. But you can't just come here and run the gauntlet on education. They're going to look at patterns of how you've stayed, and they're going to say, did you exploit it, And that's kind of my thing. Like, if you do a bunch of visa runs, like I talked about the tourist visa, which you get 2 a year, but a lot of people do more than that. And a lot of them get away with it. And I'm not promoting this. I wouldn't do it. But they do it and they come back. They just, every few months they leave, they come back, they get 60 days, they do it back, they do this. But if they're looking at your record, like in the future, and they're seeing, oh man, I see what time it is. But maybe they're not going to hold it against you. Maybe they do. I don't know. So I'm just trying to give you an idea. Visas are very easy here. You don't even need a visa to visit Thailand for 60 days without, like from 93 countries. As long as you've got a passport, you're good to go, So you got to know what you're dealing with, and don't try to learn it all before you come. Try to do what you can if you're planning on coming long term, but understand you can come here and you will get 3 months to figure it out. And it's not that difficult. Find a visa agent. As I said, this is the best advice, especially when you first get here, so you don't stress about it. You'll figure it out from there. With that being said, I love you guys. Let me know what you think. I hope this helps. Come and see. I'm out of here, y'all.